Righty. Grand Rising, everyone. Sunday, November the 9th, a little after 11 a.m. See if we have any questions. Um, I,
Ron, this
I,
is Evelyn.
Evelyn, let me say this and I'll come back to you, okay? Can you give me a
Okay.
minute? Okay. I want to say this because something Pastor said to me, and I went back and listened to well, I talked to Pastor and Kathy, but I went back and listened to uh, a little bit of yesterday's lesson. And something at the onset, when Val asked her question, she asked about the spirituality of Adam and Eve and them becoming human. I totally kind of missed that. I heard it, but it went kind of past me. And my mind went to something else. We were going talking about so much stuff. I want to just address that just a little bit, and anybody else can if they see something there. Uh, Question keeps coming up about us seeing the characteristics in the Bible, whether it be Moses, whether it be Jesus, whether it be Adam and Eve, talking about them as humans, and that keeps coming up for a reason because religion is hard to shed. We grew up in religion, and some of us were into into that world for a very long time. So it is necessary to keep talking about it because as we put things out there in the macro, there are other people that will probably struggle with some of the discussions that we have as well. But keep in mind that none of the characteristics, and I call them characteristics, I call them energy fields, I call them channels of self-discovery, or whatever, however you want to address them. The characters in the Bible are made up into human form so that we can see them. Some of us understand um, by sight and being able to picture things or pull things together. So when it talks about Moses, it's talking about the drawing out of you, drawing out this religious thing, drawing out these things that you may have thought were valuable to you, and seeing and understanding who you are in some of our upbringings. Not that anything that our parents or ancestors did were wrong. They were not wrong, but that led us to where we are now. But none of those characteristics in the scriptures are humans. It's energy. Those are metaphors. We've talked about some of the, especially I think we talk about Abraham. Abraham talks about a journey. Abraham speaks to the journey that you're on. Your journey may be slightly different than mine. Uh, as Africans, we have similar journeys, but different. Each one of us creates our own world. You create the world you live in. I create the world. Even though there are portions of my world that I'm unhappy with, I take full responsibility for it because I know that I created it. So when you see those things, and it talks about as we discussed yesterday, Adam and Eve, they were not humans; those are their energy fields, and it's talking about masculinity and femininity, and the role they played, and some of that, of course, uh, we have to be careful because it was distorted in the understanding, as we talked about before, how the Bible was edited and manipulated. Okay. And I think there is uh, certainly an argument that can be made in that regard to Genesis and the creation story. So uh, I don't know. Once I uh, talked to Pastor and I went back and listened at that portion and listened to her question, that just kind of bothered me that we didn't hear that portion of it and talk about in depth uh, what that meant and even the distorted part of that, because that certainly was I think can be argued there as well. Can anybody add to that or anybody see that any differently or anything else to say about it? Okay. But thank you. I just want to,
Ron,
yes, ma'am.
the only thing I would add to what you just said is the foundation and the concept about being Getzer and all of those things that were said yesterday. It gives us even more insight because if Adam and Eve is an allegory, that story of a hidden meaning of other things that really is going on there, the allegory shows us where we are in our journey as mankind. So I think all the other things that were said about our vibrations and all of those things that we look at today definitely, definitely ties into everything else. But these entities that are written there are just giving us insight to the path and the journey that we've been on
Yeah.
and the coming out of religion. And that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree, especially the vibrations that we talked about and the names of God and Lord God and all of those are talking about vibrations, elevated vibrations, and all of it points to who we are. But I agree with everything that was said. I just want to add that portion that we let us not forget that. And part of our obligation is not just having these discussions 3 days a week, but we have an opportunity to speak to the macro. We have an opportunity to put things out there for other people to understand. And hopefully, uh, we do that without offering any type of confusion. Anything else in that regard? Thank you. I hope that uh, helped a little bit. I think Val asked the question. I'm not sure if she's on today, but thank you for the question and everyone who
I'm
asked.
here. You welcome.
Hmm.
I said I'm here, and you're
Okay.
welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Miss Evelyn, are you still with us? How are you today?
Yes, I'm doing great. Grand Rising family and honor to the ancestors. A while back, about 3 weeks ago, Don had made a statement that he was, I think, and I want to say this correctly, that he was tired of what was going on with the politics and how he felt that he wanted those um, those in politics who are corrupt or whatever, it didn't matter if they were to eat each other alive or whatever. I think that's what he said in short. And I kind of had a moment like that yesterday because it looked like more and more stuff is being exposed as far as corruption and misabuse of power. And I felt like Don did. They could eat themselves alive. I wouldn't care. But I want you guys to remind me of what Pastor or what the teachers or whoever had said about having that type of attitude. Because this has been going on for so long and now things are just being uncovered. But I had that attitude. I had to get off the TV. I stopped watching TV yesterday. So if you guys please, can y'all remind me why we should not have that type of attitude, or if that was said? That's my question for today, for right now.
Yeah, and I hope, thank you for your question, and I hope other people are prepared to address it as well. Uh, I too, Evelyn, have had my fill, and there certain channels I don't even watch anymore. Not that I don't want to be informed of what's going on so much that it's draining, and I'm being seeing yourself as Elohim to me is not only a beautiful thing, it's a very strong responsibility and a privilege. And I since I've sort of seen that, because we can say it 1,000 times, but I see it now. And if I see it, I'm going to live it. And part of that is I pray and ask for wisdom and understanding, not only wisdom for what we need to talk about and put out there in the world, but wisdom of how I am to govern myself from this point on. And one of the things that I saw was the hurt and the pain out there. Uh, the suffering that the African is gone through throughout the ages, not just in America, but of course that in America is closest to me, but throughout the ages. And it is right in our face. Uh, I think the atmosphere is developed so that we never forget slavery because it keeps us at a lowly place, not lonely, but lowly place. And that we are never going to be caught up or as good as someone else, whatever that means. Uh, so when I stopped and looked at that, I thought about how much hurt do you have to be in to spend your entire existence to hold somebody else down in one place. Not just for a year, but year after year after year after decade after generation, this thing plays itself out. So the pain that I see is very deep and very hurtful. And we are not only to focus on us, but focus on the universe. Those people are in pain. Yeah, they have a lot of money. They live in big houses, but they spend their existence thinking about the African. They go to bed thinking about the African. They wake up thinking about the African. And that has to be a very pathetic place to be in. So as Elohim, and as you look at that, I pray, I meditate on that type of pain, and it helps me that I not focus on the news media. It helps me that I not focus on a lot of the videos and stuff that are out there, or all the agitation that is out there. So uh, that's part of my take on it. Uh, Again, cutting the TV off, Evelyn, is never a bad idea. But I want to hear from somebody else, please. What else do you guys see here? Come on, nobody? I know better.
Hey, Ron. It's Janice.
Hey,
I
Janice.
don't um I don't know that I see anything else additional, but I was really happy to hear you refer to um, the pain of our ancestors, and I often feel a good bit like a crazy person because I think about it so often, and it hurts so deeply so often. Um, and I can't articulate it well to other people
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
it feels like. I mean, there are times that I can imagine what it was like to be chased by dogs or like to have your family ripped apart or like even just walking around today, like
Yeah.
how hard it is to just live in a black body um, and have like experiences. Like I've accumulated my own list of experiences, and I I don't often know what to do with that. Like I hurt, but
Yeah.
that seems to be where it stops. And I don't know. I just wanted to thank you for putting voice to that.
I appreciate you sharing that. There are two points that really bothers me. One, I can't get over as a man is having to sit on the porch while somebody else goes in your house. That boils me every time I think about it, and that's one that really hurts me. The other one is talking to young men in my family and in my life that are not happy being black men. They're young, they're kids, and they experience things and they want to be something more, and they don't see the value in being a black man. and I can't articulate it to them properly, and it frustrates the hell out of me. And I'll say something to them, and an hour later or something, we're in a discussion, and they'll say something else, and that bothers me. But uh, I am thoroughly convinced that we're on the right road. We're headed the right way. Uh, we are not only the importance of expressing ourselves united as we do 3 days a week, but expressing ourselves. We can be united all 7 days of the week through meditation, and it doesn't mean we have to meditate all at the same time or for the same length of time. Just
And
remember,
Ron,
yes.
another thing too, for some reason, 2 o'clock is my wake up time. I have an alarm clock, but for some reason, 2 o'clock, I'm up. It's like I'm about to go to work. It's the norm for me. Is anyone else experiencing that as well?
I was telling Kathy yesterday, mine is at 3 o'clock. Mine is at 3
Mine is
a.m.
at 3. Mine is at 3 as well.
Yeah. And I wake up and I go to the restroom and I come back and I meditate. I do. And I don't try to time it. I just do it as long as I'm supposed to do it, I suppose. But the pain is real. And I also appreciate and I think necessary that we discuss that every now and then. The pain is real, but discussing it to me is very therapeutic. And as we take on these roles, as we have already mentioned, the ancestors and those that come after us, this is the now, this is the present, and we are the totem pole. We are the ones that bear the weight, just as our ancestors did. We are the weight bearers now. So yeah, I don't. I'm kind of like Janice. I don't have anything comforting to say, so much as to say, uh, let's support each other and be there. But rest assured that being Elohim, uh, sometimes, as Kathy reminded me yesterday, uh, I have to catch myself when I feel depressed. I have to catch myself when my anger kind of gets out of balance. Elohim can't go there. I'm not going to go there. Too much is riding on who I am, who we are. And when I get so far out of balance, I can't see solutions. I can't see what to do, what to pray, or how to pray, or how to breathe. It quickens my breathing, and it's no longer as effective because it lowers my vibrations. So that would be my advice to you, as you've already said, Evelyn. There's some things sometimes we just might need to cut the television off.
And one more thing for right now. And during those waking hours or that waking hour, I felt last night it happened to me again, and I said, okay, universe, okay, mankind, I'm with you. I feel your pain. Like Janice just said, I feel your pain. We're in this together. We're one. And I just didn't, I just sat there, because a lot of times they say when you don't know what to say, just sit, as Kathy say, and, just be, well, the family, the group, or the teachers said, just be, and just sit with what's going on in the universe. And it just hurt, like Janice and you just explained. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that situation, but thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else might have similar feelings or have a different solution? Okay.
This is Angela. I just wanted to say that my wake up time is like one. I can like fall asleep early because a lot of times I turn the TV off and I try to stay off my phone as much as I do, because I feel like I give a lot of time to the phone. So I just put my phone down and then I fall off to sleep, and I would just wake up sometimes about a little after 1 o'clock, and then I would think to myself, maybe I went to sleep too early, maybe not. Then the next night, so I just meditate, just try, and then I'll try to go back to sleep, but then I try not to focus on going back to sleep, and then sometimes I don't go back to sleep, and it's time for me to get up and go to work, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Angela. I'm like you, because my alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. Uh, so what I started doing is I my prayer and my meditation is for rest, not always sleep, but for rest. And that keeps me going, you know. But thank you. Although I think these discussions, these conversations are very necessary, and I hope we get something from it. Is there anybody else have anything, any questions or comment on any subject?
Ron, this is Angela again. I do have well, kind of it's like a question too, but it's a comment. But I was on we're looking at YouTube, and there are certain people that look at themselves as I'm gonna say not so much spiritual leaders, but they have their platforms and they have people on their platforms, because the question was raised one time, well, plenty of times, that we're the only ones right here on the line that are doing what we doing. And I didn't see that, when it was said, but it was last week, and the ancestors showed me, and I was listening to this lady. I didn't listen long because I got off, and I said it, and it was more like she was telling them stuff that was going on, and one of the people that, well, I couldn't see the people, but they were just commenting, and one man said that everything you saying was negative, and she was like, they doing this and they doing that, but she wasn't. It was so much she was telling them, well, you got to pay a fee in order for me to do this and do this and do this and do this. Spirituality is free. So I got off of that. I said, because she's more like, she is trying to gain money by the people's needs, because the people are on there because they listen to her content, but they figure that, looking at it too, that she's the only one that, in their eyes, because they sold into this person, that she's the only one can help them. And
Yeah.
so she has a price, a price for everything.
Yes.
And I don't think that spirituality, it should be a price. Spirituality is free. You're going to help somebody and show them, the right way of who they are. So, I got off of that, but yeah, there's a lot of that going on around here in the world.
You're exactly right, and I hope someone else has it's an observation to this as well. But there are a lot of people out there searching, and I not to say we were the first or the only at that time, but I do think we're part of the ones that have influenced or stirred up the spiritual part, if you will, to make people think, what if? And even some of the actions that have happened the last 10, 20 years or so have in politics and religion have made people disgruntled with the church. And that too has started people to doing a search or a self-examination, if you will. So I think we're right in the middle of that. I think we're a major part of it. Uh, I think the only thing or one of the things that I see is the sincerity of what we do. And I agree with you. It should be free. You would not charge a drowning man to throw him a life raft. There should be, uh, if you're searching for life changing type of energy, and you believe in what you're doing, then why would you put a price tag on it? How can you put a price tag on that? So it is a lot of that stuff going around, and I appreciate the search. There are a lot of people out there that are searching, and I think if they are sincere about what they're doing and what they're searching for, they will find truth. But if there are those out there who are looking to make a profit or to impress people or whatever, they'll find what they're looking for as well. They'll make money from it, but probably very little else. So that's just kind of my take on that. But anyone else? Thank you, Angela. Anyone else? Any thoughts about that? Okay. Any thoughts about anything? I saw something in the scriptures that I thought was very interesting. Uh, and as always, I try to find things that ties us into to where we are now and the journey that we're taking. And that led me to Exodus 32. I want to show you something and see what your thoughts are. Exodus 32. And my phone freezes up again.
Is there a particular verse you want read?
I'm trying to find it. Let me find where I'm going to start here, because I want to show you something here that points to us, to me. Let's start. I'm gonna start in verse 11, and I'm gonna come back up to verse 7, but I want to start in verse 11. It says, "Then Moses entreated the Lord his God and said, O Lord, why does your anger burn against your people whom you have brought out of from the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians speak, saying, with evil intent he brought them out to kill them in the mountains and to destroy them from the face of the earth? Turn from your burning anger and change your mind about doing harm to your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Israel, your servants to whom you swore by yourself and said to them, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of heaven, and this land of which I have spoken, I will give to your descendants, and they shall inherit it forever. The thing that I want you to see here is verse 12. It says, turn from the latter part of the last part of verse 12 says, turn from your burning anger and change your mind about doing the harm to your people. The word turn and the word change there talks about repentance, to restore something. I think this is talking about the Akashic consciousness. Turn and change. It's talking about repentance. Turn is saying to restore, return something to where it was before, to do something again. Uh, Change talks about and turn is Hebrew. If you have following your concordance, 77:25, and change is Hebrews 51:62. It talk about to comfort, to repent, to relent, to be sorrowful, and to be a comforter. So I think this is talking about uh, this is talking to one entity. The one entity that it is talking about is made up of three parts in this example. It's made up of Israel, which is the people, it's made up of Moses, and it's made up of God. So if you look at this and you saying, why would Moses tell God he needs to repent? But you have to look at this carefully. Uh, This is a place where all three entities come together. This is a place where all three entities. If you notice, I mentioned verse 7, is when, let me find, God says, and the Lord spoke to Moses, said, go down at once, for your people, not my people, your people, whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt. Now, if you come back to verse 11, Moses then entreated the Lord your God and said, "O Lord, why do your anger burn against your people whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt?" Who brought them up out of the land of Egypt? God and Moses. The Moses in you is what draws out the religion. The Moses in you that is what looks at those things that you thought were valuable to you, those things that at one point made sense to you, and you start to question them. And the God in you is when you start having those elevated thoughts. You start seeing things a little differently and questioning those things as not only to who you are, but the value of the things that you see in your life. And the Israel represents the journey. Israel represents the journey in which you have come, and that part of you that's still holding on to religion, that doesn't want to let go. So it is all of that part, all of that past, present, and future. Every bit of you is coming together as one, and it's not so much that he's saying to God, "You need to change." He's saying is, look at this opportunity we have. We're at the mountain. We're at the place of elevation. We have an opportunity through a higher consciousness. That's the repent. That's the Akashic consciousness. We have the opportunity to change the consciousness for mankind. I just thought this was beautifully written. It looks as though it is Moses and God kind of facing off, and Moses saying no to God for what he said, but it's not that at all. It's Moses recognizing who he is. It's that energy, or in a very strong sense, if you will, even taking authority and knowing when to take authority and submit. I am going to bring this out of you. I'm going to show this to you. I'm going to show you who you really are. You wanted this journey? I'm going to show you who you really are. But it's not so bad that you can't turn. I am also represents the authority to turn, because I can see this. I see myself. I see who I really am. Does this make sense? You guys are quiet today. Everything okay? Is everything all right? You guys are quiet. Well, I hope it makes sense.
For me, it does. I guess as you go along, you'll expand on it a little bit more too. But
Well,
it does
I think
resonate, I would say, yeah.
I think the Akashic consciousness is the ultimate tool, not a weapon, tool that we have. And it is my desire to understand it more. And I think the vibrations of you is what activates it. So if you have a strong desire, as we said, for repentance, you have a strong desire for restoration, because some of this means to retreat or to do again or to bring comfort, to be a comforter. Some of it talks about to restore. So because of my levels of vibration, I'm open to be whatever needs to be that I need to be to bring restoration to mankind. There are some that appear to hate me. There are some who have brought pain on me and my people for thousands of years. but I see your pain now. If I take my eyes off my pain, I can see your pain. So my desire to restore you as well as myself raises my vibration. It raises my level of consciousness, raises my vibration. And I understand that I am not fulfilled or confined by time. I recognize that I am the privilege of being my name on this journey being changed from Abram to Abraham, and I'm not Sarai, I'm Sarah. In other words, my focus is not on me and my family. My focus is not on the Johnsons. My focus is not just on the African anymore. My focus has to be on mankind. So that's the portion of this that I see that seems like a battle. This battle takes place at the mountain, at the place of higher elevation. Moses says, God, you brought these people out. God says, Moses, these are your people. You brought these people out. And both are true because they are one and the same. But that's part of the journey, to see that, to understand it. I don't know what else I could say.
Ron, this is Evelyn. I have a question.
Okay.
How does that line up with what we're dealing with today? Because I'm thinking about the people who I work with on that board, how if my mindset is not in a good place, people can feel that. And it lets me know the big responsibility we have as far as where we go and the people who we are around all the time. How does that line up with what you're talking about?
Evelyn,
at work or whatever.
I think you just made an excellent observation. I too know that the people on my job can feel my moods, and I catch myself sometimes. People may not know who you are per se, other than your name, but they know that there's something about you that they respect, and they can't put their finger on it, at least not yet. So I agree with you. People know your moods affect other people. Your moods can change a room. Your energy can you know, and the scary part about it is you've heard me say this before, and the very statement made me recognize me in this, is that I said one time on the air here, seems like wherever I go, the names and the faces change, but the attitude stays the same. And I looked at it as a European mindset, and indeed it is, but at the same time, the catalyst for it is me. So I propose then that to make a change in my environment, I'm changing me, and I'm doing it from the inside out. That doesn't mean that don't sit there and don't think I don't sit in my car at 5 a.m. and pray and meditate before I walk in that building. You know, but whatever it takes is whatever it takes. But I see that this is real, and this is a grand opportunity that we have. But your observation is right on point to me. You do influence things far more than you know.
So as us being Lord, or am I saying that right? Lord, and then Moses, the drawn out one, we draw out that negative energy by transform. I don't want to say we draw it out, but we transform it, or is that the same? So we are in that role when we're in restaurants, on the job, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Drawing it out to me speaks to this, and again, I'm that's why I like the dialogue, because some people see things different than me. Drawing out to me speaks to, as I said about myself, Ron, you're not what you want to be. you need to you need to re-examine yourself. You need why do you say that to him? What's So I'm constantly analyzing and looking at me. That to me is the drawing out. That to me is the Moses in me that recognizes that in order to be elevated, in order to be on that mountaintop, there are things in me that I need to remove. So that's the part. And the other part of it is recognizing that the drawing out the Moses part goes along with the Elohim part, that there is the greatest part of you is that which seeks deliverance for mankind. So it doesn't matter so much that I get credit for anything, or I make a lot of money on this job, or I get this amount of promotions or whatever. The point is, am I doing what I'm supposed to do in life? And I move my mind, I move my heart to the place that is the most important thing to me. And I don't think I answered your question, but that's anybody else.
Well, you did. You did. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm like you. I have to pray sometimes to get out before I get out the car. I have to make myself get out the car. And I'm like, okay, here I go. And that job seems like a vampire. It's like, to me, it's vampire energy. It sucks all of your energy. By the time, throughout the day, thank God we get breaks or whatever. We get to go sit out in our car, like you said. But yes, the workplace has a vampire energy. And again, I'm like you. I have to pray before I get out the car. That's all I want to say about that.
But Evelyn, I'm gonna say this to you. I want the strength for me and for you and for anybody else hearing this. Let us stop being victims of feeling weak. We are not weak. We are the strength that carry that place. And we are the energy that carries it. And it doesn't matter if that energy is not all there or not. It doesn't matter that if that energy is not our best part of us for that particular day. We are the energy that carries that place. And let us remember that. And I'm talking to me. God knows I'm talking to me. But that's who we are. And that's what being Elohim means. That's what being a co-creator means, being elevated at times. And even as I was reminded yesterday, you know what, Ron? You ain't got time to be depressed. You don't have time to be down. You don't have time to feel bad for yourself. Come on, let's go. Even if you have to walk away, go to the bathroom or something, take a few deep breaths. But I'm learning now to appreciate my breathing more than I ever have. It's meaning more to me.
And Ron, may I add something to what you were saying too?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
I want to address a couple of things there. First of all, when we say that we are Elohim, one yet many, we are not Lord God, the self-sufficient one. And so there's a difference there. So first of all, let's look at who we really are as Elohim, one yet many. Then when we talk about, you said something that just hit me like a ton of bricks. The scenery may change, but the common denominator that's always there is us. So it's always where I am and what I'm supposed to be doing wherever I may find myself in that situation. And one of the things that's beginning to help me, because I don't think that any of us go anywhere or live our lives from day to day where we are not faced with what we used to call challenges. But like I told you last week, I'm trying to reframe them now and say opportunities. Opportunities for what? Opportunities to be Elohim. And what I found myself doing this week, and I had so many things that hit me in one day. I found myself sitting and saying, Elohim cannot be frustrated. So whatever that emotion is that's trying to attach itself to me in that situation, if it does not align with who I say I am as the I am, then I have to remind myself that I am. And what I mean by that, like what was trying to overtake me in that situation was frustration. And I kept saying, Elohim can't be frustrated. just go in here and face the problem, do what you got to do. Every person that I had to deal with in the various situations, because there were at least 3 to 4 different situations that hit me all in one day that I had, that could have gone south. It could have been negative, but I kept saying, be the positive energy. Everyone that I spoke to in those situations were so nice and so kind and very helpful. But it's because the energy that I took into the situation, some of the situations made me upset, but I had to realize, are you upset with this person? Or are you just upset with this situation? And if it's just a situation, make certain you don't take it out on the person that you're going to be speaking to. I guess what I'm saying to say all of this is, in every situation, we have opportunities to remind ourselves of who we are. And I can definitely relate to sitting in the car. And I used to sigh. I would just sit in the car and sigh before I went into the building. And sighing didn't really help me much, other than just to say, let's let this extra breath out. But now I'm understanding that when you're sitting in that car and you're taking that opportunity to meditate for a minute, and when you're taking that opportunity to meditate for a moment before you go in, you are setting the parameters for how that day is going to be. If you're taking that opportunity to sit in that car and set that parameter, make certain that you adhere to the parameter that you set when you walk in that building. You walk in as knowing who you are, Elohim.
Yeah.
What difference does it make for me to sit in the car and set the parameters, and then I go in and get frustrated? Then I go in and get angry. Then I go in and fall apart. I do all the things that I don't want to happen. I allow them to happen because I didn't embrace what I did before I walked through the door. And I don't know if this is making sense, but these are the things that I'm learning, and opportunities come every day. Some days I get more opportunities than I'd like to have to remind me of who I am, but I'm learning to embrace those situations. And if I really believe that I am Elohim, then I set those parameters for that day. That doesn't mean the boss won't be crazy and my coworkers won't be crazy. It means how I respond to them won't be me getting upset, frustrated, and all of those different things, because I'm reminding myself that Elohim won't get frustrated. Elohim won't get angry over these things, and talk yourself down from going into a dark place. And I had never heard of it as vampire energy, but I love that term. I'm going to use that because I like that. But I will not allow that vampire energy to suck the divine life out of me, because I know who I am, but they don't know who they are. And you have to remember that. And I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Wonderfully
Thank
said.
you both.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you both.
Yeah, can I just add something to that? And thank you, Kathy. You always inspire me when you talk. But I was just sitting here thinking that it's vampire energy, it's whatever. But because you are there and because you are the Moses energy, you are drawing that out of all of those people.
I like that.
When they see you, though, there's a little something going on in their head about, who you are. They recognize it, but because they recognize it and they don't quite know how to articulate it or deal with it, it creates resistance. So I would wager that the longer you have been at your job, the more resistance you're feeling because you're drawing all of that out. And people are having to deal with whatever it is that you are making them subconsciously have to deal with. But on the other side, they're just resisting. So Kathy is absolutely right. When you set the parameters and you don't respond in the way they think you might respond to their resistance, then that's more opportunity to draw out all of that vampire energy. But you don't take on the vampire energy. You, because you know who you are, you deflect it, you send it off somewhere else. Anyway, so as long as you are who you are, no matter where you are, you're going to be able to draw that energy out. And it's going to feel like, man, what is wrong with these people? But it's you that's drawing it out.
Yeah.
And Kathy is absolutely right. You have to set the parameters, and you do create the environment. And not to say that you create a negative environment, but you create the environment of drawing that energy out of people.
Yeah.
So that they eventually have to deal with it.
Well, since you said that, now you got to come home, Audrey.
Why? Why
We'll talk later.
Hey,
We'll talk later.
Okay.
careful, Evelyn.
He speaks.
I want to go back to that for just a second, because Kathy and Audrey took this a step further than what I said. I said in the car, but I'm not so sure I changed the parameters. I said in the car, and I set my mind to how to survive that day. But what you guys just described is something far greater than that. You talked about an opportunity to be Elohim and to set the parameters for what's going on so that you can draw out. That is extremely important. And it is important to look at that and see the distinction between those two things, because too often we don't feel empowered. We don't feel like we can do this, or we're not strong enough. But we are strong enough. And if not us, who? So when you talk about an opportunity to be Elohim, that's I love that. Setting the parameters for who you are. And I think there have been a number of us, not only Evelyn and me, but a number of us have talked about the frustrations on our jobs. And this is a whole new way of looking at it. And I love that. You set the parameters. You be the empowerment that goes. You are the highest vibration there, more than likely. I don't know everybody that works there, but your thinking is elevated. Your desire is elevated. Your the desire you want for all of mankind and not just for yourself. That's what helps set those parameters. I love that. I love that. Any questions?
Ron, this is my apologies. I didn't mean to cut you off. That you.
Okay. No, I'm done.
I just wanted to say, last week, and I'm listening to what Kathy and Audrey and Evelyn said, as well as you. But last week, I ain't gonna say it's kind of been kind of like the field I work in. So it's kind of like if somebody accusing you of something, it could be they're gonna take it into serious investigation. Because I deal with people that's I'm gonna say the nursing home, and so it was an incident that happened last week, and I am the one that's giving service, so I had to walk away because I was accused, and it's no investigation or nothing like that, but I had to walk away and go to my supervisor, and I said, no, this is it. I had, and I left, and I got the nurse to come in, but the person doesn't have any mental, but it was more like they told somebody that they was trying to get rid. That was a way for them to try to get rid of me, to accuse me So instead of me always trying to say, okay, well, explain this is what I'm trying to do, I felt the need for me to walk away from that. No, I can't deal with this, no more, because it was overwhelming for somebody to say that you did something and you didn't do in order to get rid of you because they didn't want you, want you there. So yes, I know that I am God, but the emotions that I felt, and then I said, well, maybe I should have stayed there, but no, I felt like I did the right thing. It was for me. It's not for me to try to fix it. It's a time to where you have to move on and let somebody else come in and handle that situation. So yeah, that was kind of
So what are you saying? You walked away from the job. You no longer.
No, I had somebody else. I got the nurse to have someone else to come in and take over from that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I appreciate you sharing this because this is what I mean when we're talking about being there for each other. There are going to be situations like this. There are going to be some times that you feel overwhelmed in your day. And if nothing else, I hate that cliche, we're going to pray for you, but our meditation, our energy will go out to you. And you know what? You may find peace in someplace else. I don't know, but just remember who you are, Angela. This is an opportunity too for you to embrace who you are and not to be bold with that or be defiant, but yes, to be bold, to understand that and to know that whatever happens, your intentions are for light and for harmony and yeah, I don't somebody help me with this. But there are situations like that, and maybe it's time to move on, and maybe not. Maybe it's something for maybe it's an opportunity for not only you, for everybody there to learn something. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
And I just want to add one thought to what you said and saying with her that we're vibrating with her in this. That's the one yet many, when you're not always feeling that you handle it or you could handle it or that you handle it the right way. But I'm hearing you say you felt deeply that it was time to walk away. I feel like that was the Elohim resonating in you that, okay, step away. Because if you had look at this again and say, what would have happened if I had stayed? I don't know. It could have gone horribly wrong. It could have been worse if you stayed. So if you felt you needed to walk away at that time, maybe, and I don't know the situation, and I'm not trying to get into the whole situation. I'm just saying, if you felt that was the right thing for you to do in that instance, then that was the right thing for you to do. Now bringing it to the group, the one yet many, drawing the energy from the group, if there's more spiritual insight that you would need to have if a situation arises again, that's similar or the same situation again, you will have more insight, even more, because now you've experienced this first opportunity. And we grow from the opportunities that we experience. So if the opportunity arises again, you'll draw even more insight from the group and in listening internally from the inside out what you need to do, you'll be better prepared to handle it the next time. And I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Kathy. You're exactly right. Does that make sense, Angela?
Yes, it do. Thank you, everybody.
Any other thoughts or questions on what we've discussed? We are in a beautiful place, and our strength is not only in each other but recognizing who we are, and recognizing who you are as you go through your meditations, and realizing that you don't need to get in a closet. You don't need to. You can do it while you're at work. You can do it while you're laying down at night in a crowded room. Never forget who you are. Never ever forget who you are, and that way it keeps us in the moment, not in the past, which always seemed to get us in trouble, and not looking ahead. But you are not only a part of the Akashic consciousness, you are the Akashic consciousness because of your elevation. And do not forget that. Any thoughts or questions before? Because that's, unless somebody has something, have another question. I don't think I have anything else.
Ron,
Good afternoon.
this is Evelyn. I yield. Go ahead.
Thanks, Evelyn. Just to piggyback on what Angela and Kathy said,
Right.
it is so important for us to understand when it's necessary to create space.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Angela did when she walked away. As Kathy said, you if you don't create that space, and create space means it gives you an opportunity to create a right response. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves that opportunity, and what comes up is out of our human nature. Our response comes out of our human nature because we don't allow ourselves to create space to give us opportunity to respond appropriately. And so, as I think, as Kathy reminded Angela, the response may be different the next time because she created the space to not react immediately, which could have been seen as a negative kind of thing. Because, sometimes we let our human nature rise up, and it just does. But if we learn to create that space when we think that's going to happen, it buys us time to respond from the place of Elohim rather than from the human.
I like that. You're right. Thank you. I didn't think about it from that perspective. Thank you. Miss Evelyn.
Okay, and I'm done for today because we're about to get off the phone. But I was just saying how I love us. We have something that no one else has, this family that we have. And I'm just so grateful. Even GC says a lot of times too, I am truly grateful for what we have. And because we do uplift each other and we carry each other, whether we know it or not. That's all I want to say. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing. Okay. Great energy, guys. Appreciate everything. If there are no other questions or comments, let's pause here and convene again tomorrow evening, okay? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Ron. Everybody